Hello everybody, it's me, Dregobob. Welcome to another video on Dregobob-Plus. On today's review video, we're going to be looking at Deadlock, Valve's newest masterpiece in the making. I know it's still incredibly early, but the proof is in the pudding. With well over 127,000 players as of writing this script, a full character roster with over 20 playable characters with fun and unique abilities and accompanying playstyles, it's no wonder that this game, even in its incredibly early state, is as fun as it is. Now, before we get down to the actual review, I'd like to direct you to Dregobob and the Dregobob Discord server. Dregobob is my main channel where I post horror-related content. The Discord server is where you can get the latest updates on videos and live streams. Join! You won't regret it. Probably. Now, Deadlock. At this point, I've sunk more than 8 hours into the game prepping for this review. In this video, you can expect me to talk about gameplay, heroes, champions, or whatever you want to call them, and the world everything's wrapped up in. I feel it's only appropriate to start with a look at the world itself. Deadlock's world, despite the limited information we have at the moment, is incredibly interesting, as it's set in a version of New York called the Cursed Apple. However, prior to this, Deadlock was formerly known as Neon Prime. There's plenty of footage floating around showing off Neon Prime and some of its old hero designs, but I'm unsure if I'm allowed to share that, so to be safe, I'll leave you to find it yourself. Now, looking back to Deadlock itself, it, of course, also has fantasy elements with characters like Ivy, Abrams, etc., as well as the patrons, along with sci-fi and occult elements with a myriad of mechanical characters and again the patrons, who inhabit huge mechanical magical golems as well as likely controlling the walkers and guardians stationed around the map. Just looking around the map itself in this early state, it's baffling just how much detail and life the dev team managed to inject into this version of New York. Though we still have tons to look at, like the characters. Deadlock's cast features the most diverse set of characters in a Valve game to date. From a demon cop, obviously inspired by Hellboy, an SMG-wielding gargoyle, a goo person with gooey abilities, a Native American archer, and a robot brawler, Deadlock certainly won't be leaving you without a favorite character. Or playstyle. Deadlock's gameplay is some of the most fun I've had with a game in a hot minute. Each character has a few different playstyles you can run with, using items that you can buy with souls you collect from fallen grunt enemies that I like to call candle golems, as well as players, you can buy different upgrades that augment and increase the character's power and damage output. For ease of use, each character also has preset builds for the early, mid, and late game. I personally feel that Deadlock combines your average MOBA and third-person shooter together beautifully. Though, I've neglected to talk about the main gameplay loop. Each Deadlock match begins with you being assigned to one of 4 lanes. Each lane spawns a series of candle golems that often fight each other into a stalemate. That's where the player comes in to push forwards with their candle golem pals, though don't forget to deal with the opposing enemy team's player first. After doing that, you're then free to take out the enemy team's guardian. This permanently weakens the enemy team's defenses and allows you to push onto their walker, a stronger, bigger version of the guardian. After dealing with them and pushing to the gates of the enemy base and dispatching a further 2 guardians, you and your team have to destroy 2 altars protecting the patron. Once those are out of the way, you can eliminate the patron and finally destroy their final weakened form. Though, the closer you get to the enemy spawn, the quicker you'll encounter more candle golems and enemy players. This makes it so that even after a successful push that destroys an altar or 2, or even the patron themselves, the resulting buildup of candle golems and loss of teammates on your side, and the resulting respawn time gives the enemy team a short window to bounce back and swing back at your team, making things seem not so hopeless and one-sided for the enemy team. The fact that each lane also offers a way to the enemy base means if the enemy team is all grouped together at a distant lane, a high damage hero can push into the enemy base to also deal heavy damage to the objectives too. Some other mechanics of note are the various wild monsters you can find around the map. Killing them will net you extra souls, and as the match goes on, stronger monsters will spawn, leading up to a powerful mid-boss that gives you an item called the Rejuvenator. Plus, you can use them as a bullet shield in a pinch. There's also climbing ropes and cosmic veils scattered around the map. Ropes being used to get to and traverse the loops of the map to get the drop of enemies or just to escape in a pinch. Which cosmic veils can also be used for, as they basically function as one-way mirrors that neither side can see out of, making it perfect for escaping or juking enemy players. There's also the omnipresent transit ziplines that send you to battle when the match starts. Throughout, you can use them to get to the furthest point your candle golems have pushed, head back to your base to heal and buy items. And that's about it. Getting down to combat with other players, as you can imagine, it's all dependent on your skill, the character you choose, and the character you're pitted up against. However, like all games, especially in this state, there will be utterly busted characters and builds that make characters almost unkillable. Though, I haven't seen anything like that in this game. Sure, there definitely are preferences on characters, but every game has that. The fact matches can only have one player as a specific character means that there is no deadlocking between teams. Another thing to note is when either side sees a player, they're marked on the map for everyone, and the ability to see your team's and enemy team's current health means that distant teammates can know when to pop in and help a friend out, though the same applies to enemy players too. Most matchups in Deadlock are pretty balanced too, I'd say. Characters like Haze can become an absolute nightmare for lone players and even groups of players with their massive AoE ultimate. And despite what my monkey brain wants me to believe, my own deaths are usually my own fault thanks to bad placement, poor use of abilities, or just outright being overwhelmed by multiple players. Considering this game is so young and still in a very early state of development, I feel it wouldn't be fair for me to give a sort of final verdict on the game itself. But my titling of this video is no joke. Deadlock to me very much has the potential to take over the MOBA and even hero shooter genre, as I find myself constantly coming back for another match between script writing and other projects of mine. So I highly recommend you seek out an invite from a friend or the community itself and play Deadlock. On screen right now is art from people on my Discord server, plus a featured channel. I'm Dregobob, hoping you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Bye bye! Fucking Haze players. I fucking hate Haze players. I actually hate every matchup that I can't win. I hate everything when I lose. Durr!